Okay, so Help Center. How do you access Help Center? So how do you, the level of assistance as you use Intacct, you will come across questions, messages, or want to understand certain topic details. What do you need to do in sequence is what you saw on the slide, and we'll go back to it. So Help Center, click on the top right corner of the screen, and then you get to where Joe took you there. And on the page, you can type any topic. So for example, if you type in pay bills, and it will bring up the pay bills section. And if you see, go ahead and click on the first top one, and then you will see all kinds of things on the right and the left side. Even there's a video link. These are short videos that kind of walk you through all the different topics that you keyed in, and also additional information available. So these are like, this particular one is probably a 2-minute or 3-minute video. Okay, so you get to hear somebody speak, so you don't have to read through materials. You could just hear it for 2 minutes, you understand the topic. Now, let's go over to the, so talking about videos, there is so many other 3 to 5-minute or 8-minute videos that are available, and they are all grouped by modules or functions. For example, if you want to know about reporting, we had a good session about dashboards and reporting. If you click on the reporting, there's information about how you could do different type of reporting. For example, how do you memorize a standard report, right? That's a question we always get as a support question. So you could always find and help yourself. So that is the second part of helping yourself with Intacct. And then when you still don't have answers for your questions, you could go to Sage Intacct Community. That's usually accessed by the administrator. And there's additional information and articles there available to you. Okay? And of course, you have, here you could do the search and read through the knowledge bases, and there's, these contents are always being updated. So if there's a new release, there's always updated information here, right? That's why it's electronic, it's continually updated.
Herman, one other thing that I've heard people saying that, I'd like to see this feature, I'd like to see this feature. So this is where you would actually go in and post your idea right in the community. Sage Intacct will look at those. The more votes it gets, the higher up it goes up the bubble.
Yeah.
So post those ideas, look them up. There might be other people that are looking for that same feature, so vote for their ideas.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. And of course, the other one is to go to your in-house expert or the administrator that he or she will have access to the answers to your questions, or at least confirmation of your understanding. And only the last thing, or the final step, you want to go to our support desk, okay? And then access us, because now you still have those questions if you want to understand it more, or you have other things you want to do, maybe design a report, or you cannot continue, you're missing things. Whatever it is, then you will come to support desk, create a ticket, and then it will be assigned to a proper resource based on the identified issue, and we'll contact you. So the support desk, there are 3 options. You could create a ticket, email, or call the number. Best thing is to create the ticket. Okay. Now, the training options that are available to you is the Sage University. If you have the learning membership, you have the fundamentals training, and you could keep taking it, repeat it as many times as you want, and it's available to all Sage Intacct users. Okay, and it is licensed, or the membership is paid per company or by the company, not by number of users. Okay, and there's also, other than fundamentals training, there's the financial reports and dashboards, and several other on-demand training available as well. Okay. BAS, on the other hand, can provide training on your configuration and your data, and we can also provide consulting on your processes and beyond best practices. Okay, next slide. Let's look at some recent features released that you may not be aware or not using. We've grouped these by modules. So the first one is system. Previously, when users entered the wrong password multiple times, they got locked out and were not aware of it. Now, when a user is locked out of Intacct, they receive an email explaining why they are locked out, and that an administrator can assist whether to reset the password or simply to go and unlock the user. Next one is checklist and assignments, and this was actually released about a year ago, but they have enhanced it. Checklist allow you to assign tasks and track the responsibilities and progress of your own tasks and your colleagues' tasks. Sage Intacct checklists provide the following: visibility into the process that you use, on specific activities, and flexibility to assign work as needed. These are non-financial activities. When you assign a task to a colleague, the Intacct sends an email to that person. The email includes the assignment with its associated checklist and due date information. So there's full information there. And there are 2 on-demand training in Sage University, one for using checklist for the users and for configuring and administering for the administrator. And these are like 45-minute training. Once you take that, you will know how to do this. And as you know, it's fairly straightforward. Your monthly or annual closings are the typical checklist and assignments.
And this information, like Ed alluded to in the previous one, is you could actually put this onto a desktop so you could track the progress of those tasks.
Yeah. And the other point is we often notice users have not optimized their screens, or they are not continue to optimize their screen as the data is growing, or other changes that's happening. For example, a way to show more records on a page to reduce the number of records or pages that are split into, the records are split into. So you can set your personal preference, and these are some of the settings that will enable you to do that. And you click on your name on the top, My Preferences, and you could go and keep refining them as you progress through your system, using the system. The next slide, we'll talk about accounts payable. The latest release, you now can pay from the bill list. So the next, yeah. So you may have to jump through and maybe show some of these things. So I'll talk to that. So if you've been 10 minutes, okay, got it. If you have been jumping through, if you have been multi-currency environment, the pay bill list wasn't available. Now it is with the latest released. And in accounts receivable, you can edit the reversal date as of the last release, okay, on the posted payment. You could go back and reverse it because you reversed it to the wrong period or whatever it happened, you're able to go and reverse it. And there are several other things, but because of the time restriction, I'm going to let Joe jump. This slide, by the way, slide deck will be available for you with all the information you saw to download from the web in about a couple of weeks. So I'm going to pass it to Joe to continue on. So the last one Joe has on the screen is the trial balance now splits the opening and ending balances in debits and credits. Before it was just throwing it all in one column. Now, of course, it's a small change, but we accountants love the debits and credits on separate columns. So that's what they have done with an option. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. Joe will continue on with the new features that are coming up.
So as I mentioned earlier, someone had a question in regards to the dashboards, and are there any pre-configured dashboards that come with the system? With the latest release for the service industry, so anybody who's got is project management or software as a service or something, there are new some out-of-the-box predefined dashboards that are available. The not-for-profits think they were available last release or 2 releases ago, so you could actually go in and select the, at least the template of those dashboards that you want to use and modify them however you want to use them. So future enhancements, what's coming down the pipe? List enhancements. So there's going to be a new way of looking at your lists, whether it be your vendor list, whether it be at your bills list or anything. So I'll show a quick demo view of that one. Accounts payable bill automation. It is currently available to the U.S. companies, but I just wanted to show you a quick preview of what it looks like. It's similar to what you saw with Use, but it's more AP based, and it's built within Sage Intacct. And also, what's currently in early adopter, which is Sage terminology for beta, is partial ownership. So if there's any family offices, or if you have any partial ownerships in other businesses, we could actually now start doing consolidation based on those partial ownerships. So let's jump quickly into the demo here. So on the views list, so I'll combine a couple of things here. When we're looking at vendors, this is our standard view right now, where you could go and filter based on here. You could sort by name, you could sort by whatever fields you have on here. You could do some filtering on here. On the advanced filter, this advanced filter is always and. So if it's this vendor ID or this city, if you wanted this or this, you couldn't get that. Now, what's going to be available, it should be available within the next, by the next release, is going to be a new view. And with this one, we'll be able to create more types of filters in here. So we could actually go in and, we could actually go in and do extra filtering. We could do text wrapping. We could also stretch out the columns of that. So it's extra views in there. Also, if you do click on a vendor, you'll be able to get that vendor information as well on your screen. So now you can go check it. If you want to do some edits or anything like that, you could do it right off that screen. So faster access to your data. This is coming. It is, like I said, it's available for the U.S. companies. So it's coming. I'm hoping it's going to be by the next release. It should be ready for us. On the accounts payable automation, what we're now able to do, and this is widely available, I believe, also in the U.S., is you're now able to have emails go into your own Sage Intacct email box for accounts payable. And what the system will do, just like Use did and other operatings, they'll go and read that document, process it, and fill in the blanks for you. So now again, accounts payable person is now just reviewing that document, making any adjustments to that as well. So I've got a couple samples here. One that I brought in by email. So if I edit this one here, I could see that there's that invoice. If I want to view that invoice, click on my paperclip, and a copy of that invoice shows up on the side. I could also go down and make any adjustments to this. I also have set up for calculates my sales tax as well. So it picks up that information, and now I can post this right into the system, or flows through your accounts payable workflow, however that is. Also coming in the future is going to be, like I said, partial ownerships. I don't have access to that right now. Oops. But what it will do, it'll take those ownerships, you assign that partial ownership to that particular entity upon consolidation, and it will go apply that calculation and consolidate accordingly. And that is time-based, so it is based on a date. So if your ownership in a company changes from 1 month to another month, it accounts for it. So when you are looking at doing those comparatives, you know, hey, I had 45% of this company this month, now I got 55% of this company this month. It'll actually show that 45 and 55 on those reports. So that's coming. It is an early adopter, like I said, it's in beta. So there are, I believe, Intacct is looking for testers that want to participate in that program. If you do, just contact your AM, and they'll be able to hook you up with that. Any questions? Anything else that people would like to see? Amit. Pricing is, it is going to be a fee-based, usage-based kind of thing. Now, just remind, it only works with accounts payable right now. So if you're using purchasing, it will not work with your purchasing module yet. That's coming, and I think they've got some work they've got to do on the tax side to accommodate that as well for us Canadian companies. Yes, actually, what your vendors would do, they would actually send it to a specific email address. This one was ap@400sageintact.com, and based on that 400 was that entity, so that actually went into that entity's email box and populates it on the screen.
So, Joe, I think there is a couple of videos available on the AP automation as well.
There is some videos available on the AP automation as well. That's in the
so
in
if you
the
already
community.
have Intacct, you could go click on those, and there's about 2-3 videos: how to submit it, how to process it, and how the whole thing works. There are some videos available.
Yeah.
So if, I'm interested in doing this, being able to access some of those videos, and even to show my accounts payable and receivable person, because they're the ones who can be running the program, how comfortable they are, what they recommend. Could we get access to that, or would you grant us access to that? Is that a sage question versus a GAS question?
That would be a sage question.
Yeah, that would be a stage question, but I'll answer the first part, which is the 3-minute video. That just gives you the overview, so you kind of understand how it works. It's not going to let you walk through an actual demo. By the way, because it's a Sage product, even if it's turned on, you don't have to keep using it. You could use it the traditional way. You could manually key in information. It's not that the other thing is turned off and you're stuck with this. No. You could do partial manual, and then whatever is emailed to that email address will show up here, right? So, and then you could slowly start giving out those email addresses to more and more of your suppliers as you see it successfully coding and working properly. You could do it, right? So just like Joe said, it's part of the core, but there is a transaction-based fees because of the technology behind it, of the OCR recognition and all that. Those are licensed royalties. Sage Intacct pays somebody else. So there will be transaction-based fees for those.
So anything that we're automatic or automating through the email, we're paying a transaction. If we're manually entering the data, are we paying a transaction?
No, that keeps going as it is, yeah. That's the only way Sage knows that when they go to because it's their email address, not your email address. That's the only way they know, okay, they have a transaction, so that's how they keep track of those things.
It's basically their email server that you're sending it to, and then it's populating it. That it's linked to your particular site. So that's.
Because you're processing it through your server, otherwise it's manual, it's outside the server.
Yeah. So let me just show you here on this AP bill side here. Right in here on this source, it knows the source. Well, this bill was uploaded, so I could, if I had a PDF copy, I could just upload the bill. Or this one was emailed, or this was emailed. So it's using that OCR technology. It knows. If these were manually entered in.
So when you're sending in the bill,
could do it that way. So if you're picking up your bill from Enbridge, then yeah, you could email it to yourself and just email it to that address, right? You'll have access to that address. And it looks at the attachment. Yeah.
So when we attach the bill, it came into the email, and the OCRE technology read it and posted it. If you have an approval process in place, when that approval goes in and they want to view that bill, do they place it on the bill, does it open right in Intacct, or do they have to go to?
It opens up in Intacct. Everything, this is all within Intacct. So your regular agent approval bill process, the approval process that's set up for AE, it'll follow that whole process. So they'll need to click on that on the paperclip, and that bill will show up. They'll log into Sage Intacct, yes.
There was another question, Joe. Do you have a question, sir?
Slightly different. So EFT, I understand that Intacct's going to have an EFT module.
There is an EFT module that Sage Intacct is building. I'm not sure what stage it's at right now. I think they were looking for some infigs just to try it out. But we've had some, Aaron and I have actually had some success with great success with Orchid. So if you're used to using Orchid, it works the same workflow. So it's easy. It's quite easy to configure. I'm not sure when when the Sage Intacct EFT side will be good.
Even when Sage comes out with the EFT module, there will be certain limitations, such as positive pay won't be there if you ever use that, and that's part of the EFT. So there are certain things initially, of course, and it'll eventually get there, hopefully, but the EFT module gives you full access to several other functions as well, not just EFT. You're all familiar with positive pay? Yeah, okay, so EFT module also comes with positive pay that you're capable. So keep that in mind.
We're using the B2RL at the moment. It's a separate module from the accounts payable.
Right.
You can see that there's a room for doing something with the accounts payable module.
Right.
I just wondered if it would actually be seamless as part of that module or it's a reset.
Yeah.
It will most likely work just like inside, like B2RL is working, or like Orchid. It's just going to be another attachment, and most likely it will just be a drop down. Say I'm paying by EFT and create my file for me. You still have to set up your vendors. You still have to set up your bank to accept it. You have to set up the originator codes and all that pretty stuff. And
Yeah, no, it's just that at the moment with B2RL you have to go out of AE to so you can set up the module, accept the file, create the file, post the file, and all those things.
yes. It would be built in there. So the B2RL, so I think Param and I, we did a comparison between B2RL and Orchid. And with B2RL, the approval workflow, if you have an approval workflow with Sage Intacct, is after the B2RL system comes through. On Orchid is you do the approval and then it goes through. So it's kind of seamless within Sage Intacct on that regard. And yeah, there are no API calls going back up to B2RL server to create the file. It's all created within Sage Intacct. So that's what the Sage EFT module will probably look like as well.
Any other questions? Okay, we are wrapping it up. We got the wrap-up sign a couple of times already, so we are exceeding the time. So if you could fill out this feedback information and hand it over, these are for you. There are new ones if you don't have these. They are available as well. And if you could proceed back the long walk back to the morning room we started, there will be prices and closing remarks. And after that, of course, we have the 35th anniversary gathering. So thank you all. Thank you for coming.